So in what ways can a human being use this knowledge they have about the relationship of the diameter of a circle to the circumference of the same circle? How can that be of use? Well, it's used in all sorts of ways. If I can just think of an example now, let's say the diameter. Let's say a person is trying to have some sort of display. Yeah, I've got it. Just to keep it all relevant. They are at a garden party and they're displaying pies. So they take the display table, which is 5 meters long. Now that can be used to represent the diameter of the circle, because what they want to do is they want to build a boundary around this table just to protect the pies. But they don't want to take up too much room, and they want people to be able to go in. I know this is a naff example, but trust me, there are plenty of uses for this pie thing. Alright, now, reminds me of a good joke, you know. It's one my dad told me a while ago. He said, guy's going down the road and crashed into a pie fall, and it made an incredible mess, and all the damage was so expensive. And I said, what's a pie for? He said, eating. You got me good there. That was the other one, a chap trying to sell a pasty cost. What's a pasty cost? Well, about 69 pence. Alright, good English joke. Now, this boundary thing that we were talking about, around this circle is getting worse and worse. Bloody hell. I use the circle tool in Photoshop, but it insists on opening a new layer. Display table and boundary around the outside. Okay. Now there's going to be some edges poking out because reality is much rougher than maths. Right, now we know that this display table is 5 meters, and we want a perfectly circular border to go around the outside of this, in this village fade or whatever it is. Now you've got somebody here. This is just to help it make sense because it's such a rubbish example. And someone here on either side, and all the pies for sale on this table. No entry, but there is. There's an entry here and an entry there. So they come in and they mooch about, and they say, oh, I'll have one of these pies. Oh, well, I'm going to have one of these pies. And it's protected from the wind, which is a westerly wind and has a velocity of 5 meters per... That's a joke, I'm only playing. I don't want to confuse you any further than this. Okay, now what we want to know is how much material will be needed in order to make this windbreak around the outside. Now we know that this is 5 meters, and we know that pi represents the ratio of the circumference of a circle to the diameter. C, the circumference, equals pi times diameter. And then with all equations, you just plug in the numbers that you know. Now we're trying to find out what the circumference is because we want to know what length of material we're going to need. This is the sort of thing that we're going for. Right, and then you've got this table inside, and this door here, another one on the other side. People that come in and, oh, have a look at all the pies on the table. It doesn't matter about the width, which will be, if it's on its side, which it will be the height. We're not worried about that. What we need to know is the length going around the arc. This is the plan view here, which is C, the circumference of the circle. All these things, a circular tent can be thought of in terms of the maths involved. The length of the perimeter means the circumference, and the length of the table means the diameter in this example here. And we know that it's pi times 5 meters. For all practical purposes, we call pi 3.141 if we're dealing with meters and things, and times 5 meters. 3.141 times 5 equals 3.141 times 5 meters equals 15.705 meters, which is the circumference. So that's the length of the material. So when you go to whoever's selling it off a roll, that's how much we're after according to this rule. So if the diameter equals 2 whatevers, 2 centimeters we'll say, and it's got to pass through the centre. I mean, somebody's dividing up a cake a pie, 2 centimeters, you would automatically know, because you know that that's 2 centimeters, that the circumference would be 2 times 3.141, because when you're dealing with ratios, what you're doing is trying to reduce it down to whatever it is, whatever the larger number is, per 1. So say it's men to women or women to men. You would say, oh, I don't know, let's say there's a bag of beans, bag of magic beans, and there are red ones and blue ones in there, and there are 400 red, 100 blue, and that's a ratio of 4 to 1. For every blue, for every unit blue, there are 4 units red. In the number pi, for every unit 1 meter, centimeter, mile, whatever, that's exactly 3.141 ... units that make up the circumference. So you times this number, you times this number by whatever, you would have to times this number by the same amount. That will give you the circumference. So in this case we've times 1 unit by 2, because it was a 2 centimeter diameter circle, and you would have to times the number pi by the same amount, because it's a ratio, it's an exact relationship that never changes. Let's say, for instance, just to confuse you even further, you kept the you kept it as 2 centimeters for the original diameter, but you left the circumference at 3.141, it wouldn't be a circle anymore. It would be more like this sort of shape, which is more of a pasty than a pie. Alright, I'm just playing now. I get bored easily, what can I say? Right, so 2 times pi means that the circumference would equal 3.141 times 2, which is 6.282 centimeters. Sure enough, if you've got a piece of string and you start it here and you unroll this string round to there, and then you cut it and you straighten it out, you'll see that it equals 6.282. I hope that makes it clear, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments below. Any suggestions for improvements if you want, because next time we're going to be looking at the area of a circle, so it's important to start with the foundations, looking at the meanings of the words ratio, circumference, radius, diameter and pi. So I hope this has been helpful. Please let us know. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye. And thanks a lot for watching. Ta-ta for now.